Hey everybody, we are on to the lesson that everyone's been waiting for, which is, of course, fractions. I know I can hear the excitement through the computer. You guys are pumped, so I'm not going to keep you any longer. We are going to be starting with adding and subtracting fractions, and of course there's going to be some negatives mixed in and that type of thing. Okay? So, for the first thing we're going to be looking at is up here on the top. With fractions, okay, we want the denominator, or the bottom, to be the same in both. So in this case, when we have 3/8, which if you think about it is like a pizza that's split up into 8 parts. So you have 3/8 in this pizza, and then in this pizza over here, we'd have the same setup, except now we have 2 parts. Okay? And then if we're going to just add them together, well, now we have 5 total slices of pizza. So our answer is 5/8, which is nice and easy. But as we can see on the bottom, what happens if we don't have that denominator the same? We need to make it the same. So a common denominator between 5 and 6 would be 30, because 5 times 6 is 30. That's one possibility. Well, we went from 5 to 30, meant we multiplied by 6. So now we're going to go 3 times 6, which is 18. And over here, we went from 6 to 30. We multiplied by 5. So now we're going to do 4 times 5 is 20, not 50, 20. Whoops. And we're subtracting. Well, we know from last section that 18 minus 20 is negative 2, and the denominator will stay the same. Now, because we can still simplify here, okay, we'll do negative 2 divided by 30. Well, we can divide the top and the bottom by 2, so our answer is negative 1 over 15. Okay? And now this is important. This is one way to write it. You could also write it as negative 1 over 15, or you could write it as 1 over negative 15, and those will all be the same thing. Okay? I will write it like this most of the time, and if I'm given a number like this, I'll just move that negative up to the 1, just because I think that's easiest. Now, if you do it a different way, nothing wrong with that. Okay? So I want you to try these on your own. Okay, for the top, I thought the common denominator should have been 24. We did 8 times 3, so we do negative 3 times 3 gets us negative 9. We did 5 times 2, which should have been 10. And now negative 9 plus 10 is 1 over 24. And on the bottom, common denominator, couple options, could have done 40. I did 80 just because I did 10 times 8. 1 times 8 should have been 8. And then 5 times 10 should have been 50. Now we subtract. So we get negative 42 over 80. Divide by 2 gives us negative 21 over 40. And that should be simplified. All right? So only one more step that we really have to learn here, which is mixed numbers. And for mixed numbers, all we have to do is take the whole number here times the denominator, and then we're going to add the top. So it's 1 times 15 is 15, plus 2 is 17 over 15. And over here we do 7 times 5 is 35, plus 1 is 36 over 5. Now a common denominator, I'm going to say that, well, 5 can just turn into 15, so our common denominator will be 15. So that's 17. Well, I have to do 36 times 3. So it's 108. And we're adding. So now I have to do 17 plus 108. So it looks like 125 over 15. Well, they both end in 5, so we can divide by 5. So I think of this as $1.25, and how many nickels that would be? Well, 20 nickels in 100. So 5 more nickels, so it would be 25 total nickels over 3. Now, you can turn this into a mixed number, but you don't have to. If you would turn it into a mixed number, you would pull out as many 3s as you can. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. There'd be 8, and there'd be 1/3 left over. You can leave it as 25 over 3. I have no problem with that. The bottom, same type of thing. 12 times 8. Oh, man. So that's 96. Plus 7, whoops, would be 103 over 8. Oh, I clicked my calculator, I think. 103 over 8. And then 5 times 24 plus 17 would be 137 over 24. Got some big numbers this time. Then we want to turn the common denominator into 24, because 8 can turn into 24. I'm running out of room here. So that's going to stay. So now I need 103 times 24. This one should be easy. 103 times 2 is 206. Times 3 would be 309. Now we have to subtract. Now I'm going to erase some of this because it is taking up the room. Okay. Change color too. So now we have 309 minus 137. So 2, got to borrow 7, 172 over 24. Well, they're both even, so we can divide by 2. And I do not know what 172 divided by 2 is. It's 8, 16, 12, 86. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Divide by 2 again. Now this one's easy because you just do 8 and 6 divided by 2. That's 43 over 6. And we can leave it like that. All right? These are a little bit smaller on numbers, so try these on your own. All right, so for this top one, we get 10/3 minus 12/5. I combined the positive negative into just one minus sign. If you didn't, you can still get the right answer. Common denominator should be 15. So 50 minus 36, which gives me 14/15. Okay, and on the bottom, it's 41 over 8 and 45 over 6. Common denominator would be 24. So 41 times 3 would be 123. 45 times 4 would be, well, I do 45 times 2 is 90. 90 times 2 would be 180. And now I have to do 180 minus 123 and then throw a negative on it. So negative 57 over 24. And I can divide by 3 here. So that would be 19, negative 19 over 8. Now a good way to check to see if you've simplified correctly is you take out a calculator and you go negative 57 divided by 24 will give you some decimal. So negative 2.375. Now I'm going to do negative 19 divided by 8, and I want the same decimal to come up. And it does. So we have simplified correctly. Alrighty. almost done. While cooking Tyler's favorite food, pastaroni, which is very good, it calls for 1/2 cup of milk and 1 3/4 cups of hot water. So, how much liquid is there going to be total? Well, I like to cross out the junk in these sentences. So this is interesting information, but not important. What is important is 1/2 cup of milk and 1 3/4 cups of hot water. Okay. Well, that means that we have 1/2 cup of milk plus 1 3/4 of hot water. So now we're just going to add them. This becomes 7/4, and this becomes 2/4. So 2/4 plus 7/4 is 9/4, or 2 1/4 cups. Always got a label. Try this story problem on your own. Okay, if you want to know the hint, I'd have to show you in class because I can't click it on the video stuff. But music is written in 4/4 time. A half note lasts for a half measure, while an eighth note lasts for an eighth measure. What's the musical difference? Well, it just wants to know 1/2 minus 1/8. So this becomes 4/8 minus 1/8, which is 3/8 difference. And that's it. Questions, make sure you ask me. The assignment is posted on the website.